We're gonna look at how we can cash on some of these props for reserve players. Uh, this time of season, coaches are pretty much into their rotation. Not saying that rotations won't change, but coaches seem to like rotations during the season. These players are usually going to get a certain amount of minutes, and unless there's foul trouble or injury, these players get a certain amount of minutes. We're gonna look at Alex Caruso for OKC. I was targeting him last game. His player prop was 6.5. I like the under because I thought that would be similar to the game he was playing against Milwaukee in the Emirates Cup final. Would be similar to a playoff game. We turned out to be right on that one. He only had 2 points. I think it's just 2 free throws that he made. He did hit a shot at the end of one of the quarters. I'm not sure which one it was, but it was no good. It was still on his fingertips when he let it go, which would have gave him 5 points, which was still, he would have been under the 6.5. But who knows? That could have gave him a little rhythm, and he may would have hit another one. Who knows? We don't know. So we're gonna go with what we see in tonight: 5.5 points. Alex Caruso. Kind of like the over on this one. I may start a ladder with this guy tonight. I know the line is still available over on Fliff. Let's look at this a little closer so I can tell you how I'm kind of thinking about this. Last 10, he's went over 60%, went over 5.5 points 60% of the time. Against Orlando, who they are playing, in his last 10, he's went over 71% of the time. But the one game this year with OKC, he's only went over. He didn't go over. He only had 3 points. So let's go back to the last 10. And I think this game is away. Let's check that. I think it's away. Yeah, the game is, they are in Orlando. So let's go back to Caruso again. So Caruso field goal attempts 6.2 per game. In his last 2 games, he's only had 3 each. I expect this to go up. We're out of the playoff type games of the Emirates Cup. I expect this to go up more to back around 7-7-7, 11-7-7. I expect to see that tonight. So he's shooting, his field goal percentage is 38.2% on the year. So when he's gotten, let's go back over here. Field goal attempts, 7 attempts. He's pretty much made his point total. That green down here at the bottom tells us he made his, he went over 5.5. Let's go to the 3-pointers made and 3-point attempts. He's averaging 3.5 a game. As you can see, he's had high as 6, but he's really around 3 3-point attempts per game. Just keep it a buck. That's where he's at, around 3. If he takes 3, I expect him to make 1, which he averages around 1.1 per game. If he takes 3 3-point shots, I expect him to make at least 1. On a good night, he may make 2. That's 6 points if he makes 2. If he makes just 1, maybe he can score in the, in the paint, or layup, or steal at some point in the game. He doesn't go to the free throw line. He did go to the free throw line last game, but he usually doesn't get to the free throw line too often. I'm not really projecting that into. He doesn't get many offensive rebounds. If he does, of course, that usually will translate into probably points, but he doesn't offensive rebound that well. So points in the paint, as you can see, points in the paint attempts, he's averaging around 2.7 a game. That's 2 floaters, pull-ups, or layups, something from a steal. You expect, your player to hit, to capitalize on those points in the paint, and as you can see, the last 2 games, no points in the paint, and then all the games prior to the last 3 games, he's had some points in the paint, with 14 here. That's a big night for points in the paint. With all that being said, I feel that he will have a bounce back night tonight with more shot attempts, which is going to correlate into more points. And we're going to take advantage of this 5.5. I like the over that's available on Flip. I may start a ladder with this guy tonight over on Flip, but I like, the value on this pick tonight. As you can see, he gets steals, which can contribute into layups. May not on a lot of occasions, but it puts him usually in a running situation, which anything can happen. The ball can get returned back to him for a rhythm 3. All that being said, I like Caruso in this scenario, coming off games where he's not contributing as he usually do. Only 3 field goal attempts in the last 2 games. I mean, he's looking at these stats also saying, hey, I got to shoot the ball more. And his position coach is in his ear saying, you got to shoot the ball more. I just think 5.5 is a little low for this situation. Coming off a game where he didn't play bad, he just didn't play as good as he should have. And his usual game production isn't there. So this is one of the ways I use PROPS.CASH to break down player props, trying to find an angle anywhere I can. PROPS.CASH is the tool that I go to when I, doing this type of research. So we can do this with any player. I just chose Caruso for this video because I've been watching him. So see you on the next video.